Good morning, everybody. Earthy Wise Woman here. How you doing? I've been told that I need to say this more often because I don't. If you are watching this video, do me a favor. Please subscribe. I would love to build up my fan base a little and, you know, be able to make more videos like this. Anyway, now, I am not good at always doing my spiel. I don't know what they call it. The reason I wanted to go on and make a video this morning is to explain magic. Because we tend to believe, because it's the world we live in, and it is something that we need in order to, I guess, sustain our lives, and that is good and bad. Good and bad is how we usually, that dictates our actions, it dictates our behavior, good and bad. And there's nothing wrong with that. In magic, though, there are areas that are always, not always, but in many, many, many cases, gray. Now, I bring that up to bring up why I'm making this video. A little while back, I had a person comment that one of my videos, which basically was about the breakup candle, was terrible. How could I do such a thing? Because I'm encouraging people to, jealous and vindictive people to break up relationships and cause havoc. And I'm like, I am? I'm doing that? And I don't feel I am. And I'll tell you why. As everybody knows the saying, where there's knowledge, there's power. But there's more to that saying than knowledge, there's power. Where there's knowledge, there's responsibility. Where there's knowledge, there's accountability. And what I'm saying is this: if you know exactly how something is used, good and bad, if you know the ins and out of how to use it, you are much more responsible in using it. And you're also accountable if you do something that you know you shouldn't have done. You can't play stupid because you are aware of what's going on. You are aware of it. I like to believe, and I still believe this, our magical predecessors who crafted these type of candles, the breakup candle, the skull candle, uh, the witch candle, the cross candle, all of these types of candles, I believe, because at that time, at that moment, they needed that. They needed it. Some people only see the bad or only the good in using a candle, and it's just not like that. There is good reasons and there are bad reasons for using. I mean, you could use a breakup candle in a nefarious way to break up a couple and cause havoc, but you can also use a breakup candle to get away from someone who might be toxic and not mean you any harm, and not mean you any good, rather, who's harming you. You can also use this breakup candle. Let's say you are a parent or a father, mother, a um, a very good friend, and this person has expressed to you fear with being with this person, expressed to you that they don't know what to do, but they want to get out of the relationship. Yeah, you could then step in their behalf and use the breakup candle. I would be careful. I usually do not do magic for other people. But if somebody's saying they need help and they can't do it themselves because they may be in a situation where they're not allowed to be able to perform it, I get it. I get it. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. People will ask me from time to time, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And I'm like, it depends if I've had my coffee or not. But I've got to be honest, I've always found that question to be a little weird because it's not like somebody's going to say, oh, yeah, I'm a bad witch. I'm a badass witch. I, you don't say that. Usually they're like, yeah, I'm a good witch. I mean, that's usually the side we're going to lean on. And then I've heard, I'm a white witch. I'm a black witch. People ask me that one. I'm like, I'm usually a gray witch. Because here's the thing. You have to look at it like this. When we are doing magic, we are working with the god and the goddess. We're working with deity. And as some of you know, there are times when we see what they call the wrath of the gods. I mean, you've seen forest fires, and forest fires in our interpretation is bad. And yet, after a forest fire, the burned trees and the leaves and the foliage goes back. It nurtures the earth. More trees come up. The ground is way more, I don't want to say the word fortified, but it has more nutrients than it did before the fire. So in that one way, fire was good, but it did destroy the forest. Okay? It's like, we know that water is life. We need water in order to survive. But a flood ain't so cool. But floods are a part of nature. Okay? And most of us, if asked, oh, what do you think of a flood? The first thing we'll say is, man, flood's bad. And yet, it is still a part of nature. That's why I'm saying there is good and bad in witchcraft. And to only focus on the good and not acknowledge the bad is not balancing. I'm not saying that you have to perform the bad. No, I am saying that you need to be aware of the bad. Okay, case in point. I've already done a video about this, but I am going to, it was the first one I grabbed, so I went ahead and put it aside. This is a skull candle. Okay, now a skull candle can be used for positive and it can be used for negative. Sure, same skull. Now, I know people who use skull candles to get into somebody's head and to make them think about them. Okay, get into a head. So that would make it. There's a word I'm thinking of. I never can think of the words I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of the words I'm thinking of. When I'm thinking of the magic. But this is the kind of magic that one would use. Let's say that a hunter wanted to hunt, so they will reenact the hunt prior to going hunting so that they would see themselves as killing the animal that they need to feed their family. Well, why would a person in a positive manner use a skull candle? A skull candle could be that you want to be hired by someone. So you would take this candle, you would, anoint it, cleanse it, anoint it, and maybe put your name on the candle. And you would say, I want this person. You would name the person or the company. Let's say you want a job. Think about me. Think about me. Of all of the job applications, remember me. Okay? That's one way of using a skull candle. That's a positive way. Some will say, no, it's not. That's not positive because you're enforcing your will on somebody. And there's where I can tell you magic is never completely black and white. You see my point? Now, this purple. Purple generally means power. Okay? It can mean to overcome, to basically like go forth. But it also can mean spirituality, to tap into your third eye, to tap into all the elements at once, to be mindful, to step out of your mundane into more of the spiritualness of you and not the mundane area of you. All of that. So I might like this purple candle to be more in my spiritual mind. You see what I'm saying? Same candle. It's all in the practitioner. I'm going to put this aside now. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. Be responsible for your magic, okay? Be aware of it. If you know that your magic is going to affect someone else, which always magic does because we don't live on a secluded island somewhere in nowhere land. We don't. We live in a world where there are other people. Let's just be mindful that is this going to affect them in a bad way? Is this going to affect them in a good way? Is this just something that's going to just like fly right by them and not really bother them? Okay. Because here's the thing. Let's say I light this candle for, someone to hire me. But I know that I'm really not I don't really have the skills for that job. I know I don't, but I need the money. Okay, that may not be a good idea because it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I'm going to do this, let me at least get a job I know I'm going to be really, really good at and shine at. Okay? Because doing that candle that way, and I know that I'm not really qualified for the job, and the person hires me, I could make a disaster of that job. They fire me, and then being fired makes it hard for me to get another job because they are aware that I just got fired. You see my point? So this is very it's like a tapestry. It all weaves into each other. So that's why I say if you're going to cast a spell, cast one that you know is going to be good for you. So if you know that you are the best typist there is, oh, I'm aging myself, typist, or the best computer programmer, you know your stuff. Okay, you want to be taking center stage for that boss. I want him to know because I got my stuff together. And I'm way better than that other college grad guy. Okay, go for it. Shine. And believe it or not, because you're so good, the spell would work even more intensely because you know your energy is all into it. Because you're like, I know I am the best. And that is a very, very high energy. When you know and positive about and assured of what you are capable of, oh yeah, very good energy. It will go into it. The self-doubt kind of disappears. Back to what I was saying. A breakup candle, a skull candle, all these candles can be used because our day-to-day lives are good and bad. And it's also a perception. What some people would perceive as good, some people may perceive as bad. So I would tell the practitioner, guys, this is yours, okay? Don't be mindful of what other people will say. If somebody sees the breakup candle and say, oh my God, you're trying to break up a relationship, that's their interpretation. Suggest to them that they maybe study more, learn more about the candle, and realize that people are very much gray. We are not categories of black and white because even a criminal does a good thing sometimes, more than some, okay? You know, what you might view as not being that big of a deal or not that good, it's still a good act, okay? So be mindful of that. Don't judge a person's magic because you don't know the ins and outs of it. I mean, I am critical, and I will admit it, when people ask me, I want you to break up this so I can get with this man. I'm very critical, and I probably will shut them down so damn hard and make their head spin. Because number one, they want the man. And then I'm going to have to ask, well, what are you bringing to the table? What do you have as a person that is so wonderful that this man should be with you? Okay? And if they're like, well, I love him. Well, apparently so does the other person that they're with. Okay? Or if, you say, well, I want you. No. Like I said, by having someone else cast that spell, by having someone else do the work, you're not taking responsibility for your magic because it's not your magic. You're giving it to someone else to do for you. Take responsibility for your magic. I say that, and I'll even tell a person to do that as a cautionary. Because when you give that energy or responsibility over to some other person to do it, when people say, well, I feel like I've been hacked. Well, dag nabbit. You gave somebody else the power to control your life when you gave them or asked them to cast a spell for you. Yeah, bad things can happen to you. You didn't take responsibility. You gave it to someone else. What do you expect? It especially when it comes to spells of the heart, give me a break. If you really want something like that done, do it yourself. And I've heard people say, well, I don't know how to do it. Then learn. There are books, there are studies you can go to. It's not like it was in the old days where we didn't have materials available. You do have materials available. And I also think that when a person gives it to someone else to do, it's them not having enough confidence in their magic. Okay, because here's the thing. This is what you want. So the passion is within you that you crave it. So do the magic yourself. And another thing, guys, don't judge. Don't judge. And what I mean by that is this. Nothing is black and white. Don't look at a breakup candle as being bad. Don't look at one candle as being, oh, that's bad. You don't know the whole situation. I don't know the whole situation. So nothing is bad or good exclusively. We work in gray, and we always will. I would suggest you do good with, what your perception of good is always. I would also suggest you don't judge others. You know, work on yourself. I suggest that if you feel that there is a doubt in what you're doing, to hold back and don't do it until you understand exactly what and why you are doing it. And on that note, because I really hate sounding preachy, and today I feel like I'm sounding very preachy. Don't like it. You guys have a good day, okay? For me, where I am, it is a Wednesday, hump day. So I'm going to go out and do all the things that people do on hump day. And you guys stay safe and be blessed. Take care.